What's up guys, Hfmasters here today with Bionicle Minis. So if you don't remember, back in the Brain Attack days, we actually made our first minis. We made Brain Attack Minis. And since those are so fun to make and we really liked them, we decided, you know what, let's make some Bionicle Minis. And the first thing I'm going to go and just show off right away, the gearbox. Yep, we got the gearbox fully functional and fully working. We're going to try to do this with all of them. Right now we only have Hfmasters and Lewa built. We're going to try to do this with all of them. And really the main goal is just making a mini version with resemblance to it. So for the arms, I decided for Hfmasters just to make the upper half. And as you can see, he does have the transparent joint there and just the regular black joint here, just like the original set. And I just have the two transparent kind of yellowish joints at the brown at the bottom, just kind of resembling the original set, how on the bottom that it did have the transparent joints. But I didn't want to make it like completely silver, so I did put the brown there. Also, popping the mask off still works perfectly fine. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one.
Alright, so here is Mini Lewa. And first of all, as you can tell, he's mini. Anyways, let's go on to the gearbox. First of all, yes, the gearbox has been incorporated. Nothing was changed at all. Even this spike piece is here, and I think it's a little bit long, but I decided to be a little bit bold here and just add this in. Another thing that I did do was I gave this extender joints because he's the second tallest, of course, behind Tahu and Kopaka, and same height as Gali. Another thing is the mask function. It's just as bad as the old one, but I did kind of change it up a little bit, so there is a little bit more movement for the head. And there's something more interesting though is the weapon. Here, as you can see, it's just the axe, but instead of doing the gigantic sword, we switched it up to one of these pieces that were introduced into 3.0. I don't think they make these anymore. I'm not sure what was the last set that had them, but chances are, if you're new, this is probably a brand new piece for you guys. So, just a very quick look at the weapon. I know this could be new for some of the newer people out there. But anyways, now let's move on.
Alright, so here is our mini version of Onua. And first things first, gear function still works perfectly fine. The hammer is kind of big, but you know, there's nothing really I can do about that because I want to keep the hammer, but at the same time I want to make it a little bit smaller, so you can't see it is just a little bit smaller. And yeah, for the feet though, I decided that I was going to keep the regular Onua feet because I tried out the kind of protector-like feet, the kind of smaller beast feet, and they just didn't look very good. And for the shoulder pads, I use these pieces. And now we're going to go ahead and move on.
Alright, so here is the Mini Gali. And right off the bat, the gear function does still work. Another thing is the axe thing. We didn't add a handle just because we couldn't find the correct pieces for the handle. And this hasn't really been changed too much, except for this part is a little bit smaller and this part is a little bit closer together. However, that's very unnoticeable. Another thing is that I did give Gali an extender joint just because Gali is one of the taller Toa, except for not the tallest, the kind of in the middle range. And the armor is still here. Of course, the mask function does work. And that is it for Mini Gali.
Alright, so here is Kopaka, the mini version. And first off, I just kept the original shield because I could not figure out some sort of way to kind of make a miniature version of this. Because there isn't really any piece that really works with this, and just putting the two flame pieces there just doesn't look right. But just as with all the other ones, the gearbox, it's still here, it works perfectly fine. And also on the back, I decided to add this armor. Didn't really think about it on any of the other ones, but then it just kind of came to mind on this one. The kind of function where you can hit the eye stalk when the mask comes off, still works perfectly fine. And as you can see, it does bear a good resemblance. I even got the shoulder pads to look, I think they look almost identical to, on the actual set, the way the kind of shoulder pads went and these went. They're relatively similar. Also over here, I do have an extended arm for this one, mainly because it just doesn't look right when he has this here. On the other ones, it worked out fine, but on this particular one, it just did not look right. And also did make this transparent because on the original Kopaka set, he had transparent bone on the bottom, and I just had these here. For the legs, I just took the bottom half of the legs and put them on here. Nothing too complicated. And lastly, for his little chest plate, it is silver just like on the original one. And now we're going to go ahead and move on to our last one.
Alright, so here is Mini Tahu. And as you can see, he really, I think, does capture the whole feel of Tahu. First of all, quick little thing, his swords. Since I don't think there really is a replacement piece for this sword in a smaller model, then there wasn't too much I could do. Same thing with the Kopaka shield pieces, since they are the same piece. Another thing I would like to quickly get out of the way is the body is the one thing I'm very upset about. Lego has not made a 4-sized plate in red, and so the 5-sized armor piece just does not work well with the mini body when adding this here. So I had to go down to a 3-sized. I know it's really hard to notice the red, but hey, it's better than going with the gigantic 5-size thing and having Tahu's head just like covered up. The gear functions, they do kind of work. It's a little bit iffy for this, and that's just because I decided to place them over here and not having a extra ball joint, just because I think the arms would then just be too far out, and that's something I didn't want to do. The last thing I want to show off though is the articulation in the arms. I did give it Tahu a little bit of articulation. Did add in these smaller pieces to resemble his swords on the back, and of course I give him an extra extender joint just because he is one of the tallest of the Toa. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed these mini MOCs of the Toa. And just a quick little thing, if you guys are interested into seeing more of the minis, you can go check out our Brain Attack minis. And if you guys really are interested in us making minis, just comment below asking if we can make more minis. We'll probably consider doing other Hero Factory minis, just like, because, you know, minis are fun, and at the same time they're challenging to do. You can obviously see if you want to resemble a set, but you want to make it mini, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do.
And put in the gearbox.
Yes, that too, and put in the gearbox. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. We will have more MOCs coming soon, and if you guys really want to see some more minis, we will be doing more minis. And also, which one is your favorite? But until next time, this is Hfmasters saying goodbye.